Peace, first and foremost. Hopefully, the Most High in your house shall blessing your day. By His mercies, we are consumed. We're alive in the Most High in your house shall's body, too. We're naturally alive. And, I want to get into this, man, because honestly, um, no, because last night I saw, Black Phone, too, with my homie. And, and honestly, too, man, it's just like, let me say this too, because I had to be the worst movie experience I went to, because we was in Northeast. But that's why even scriptures say, "Be not confident in the plain way." Of course, nothing violent happened, but it was just young Jakes, just young people, man. They was being rude throughout the whole movie, man. And it's like that's why it's like this root like manners, man. That's really going this generation. They don't really care, man. Honestly, like um they just care about death, man, and wickedness and evil, man. Honestly, that's why Acts 2:40 says, "Save yourself from this untoward generation." Now, of course, that's talking about yeah, pretty much that's what it's saying. And this um, honestly, man, like not just the world, honestly, but yeah, this just is what it is too. So I say that to say because it's like, yeah, man, they really don't expect anything, man. But I say it to say, like, because a lot of times there's a lot of elements within this movie, honestly. But the main thing I want to get into, because it's actually the main y'all that have seen the movie, but the main thing, because there was a part in the movie. That's why, like, I was saying to my homie that, like, listen, yeah, man, a lot of people that, like, here's the thing too. That's what Proverbs 24 says: if somebody's life is in danger, don't stand idly by. And because a lot of times, because they in the movie, we're gonna give a little spoiled a little bit, but in the movie, like the for the sequel, like the grabber played by Ethan Hawke. Pretty much, this is the whole thing. Y'all see the movie. He started by at working at their mother, like the family. Their Benny and his sister, her mother. He started while working at. He started doing what he started. Abducting children. Started becoming the grabber, or like um, at this church retreat, at this Christian retreat. I mean Christian camp, whatever, in the 1950s. So then that's a long story for another day. Everything I ain't gonna go into all the details in it, but pretty much, man, it was like he came back pretty much, man, and like he's tormenting them, even though he died in the first movie. But the point it being is that like there was this Christian couple, older Christian couple, and they like and this goes into like a lot of times like the word even goes into this pretty much, man, how like people and John 16, how should I give us a game on this? How a lot of times people will claim they be in the word, but their actions are pretty much different, honestly, man. Or like you know, even when it's time to actually do something that's like that's godly, they won't, honestly. And like it's kind of like that. Oh my gosh, I wish I wrote it down. Hold on, y'all, hold on. Pretty much, yeah, here it is, the Luke 10 parable. Um, um, pretty much, man. The Luke, yeah, that's just is what it is, man. We gonna get into this. Luke chapter 10, verse 30. Kind of, this is an element in that movie, honestly. It's many elements in this movie, but like we would have to see it again, probably Lord's will. Hopefully, if y'all brothers and sisters seen it, but yeah, man, the theater that I was at, that had to be in my lifetime the worst movie experience I ever had. Like it was just bad. Like and but see, that's why like but see, that's where situations where using being circumspect and using knowledge and I mean using wisdom honestly can help you because um because it won't be the most expedient thing to do or wise thing to do to say something back or tell them to be quiet. Because that's why even the scriptures even say a little leaven the whole lump. Because the side we was sitting on, it was the road that we were sitting on, and that's what the young teenagers they were doing. They was trolling the whole time and yelling out things and heckling the whole time. And then what other parts of the theater started doing. Other teenagers started doing it because they had two girls in a row in front of us, and the girl didn't have a row of girls, young sisters in front of them started yelling stuff and saying stuff. Then on our left side, they started saying stuff. So see, that's why scriptures even say that a little leaven's the whole lump. But let's grab this in Luke chapter 10 verse 30 because this is an element in the in the movie, a theme in the movie element. It says, and Yahushua said, a certain man came down. A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, and which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him, and departed and left, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way. When he saw him pass, he passed by the other side. And likewise a Levite, when he was at the place, he came by and looked on him and passed on the other side. So yep. Verse 33, it says, but a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him. Verse 34, and he went and poured on him, bound up upon his wounds, and pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow he departed. He took 2 pence and gave them to the host, and said unto him, take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest, I come again, and I will repay. So see that? So see, that honestly goes into the element of we talk about this all the time, and we talked about this here all the time. I'm pretty sure you brothers and sisters, I have conversations like this with people all the time, man. A lot of times too, the most on your house shall have that way. A stranger will help you rather than, because notice these were people that a certain person that of course insinuated, of course, that was of his nation, of Israelite, of his kin, and one not on that, to spiritually, somebody, a Levitical priest, a priest saw this and didn't do anything, or even his brother saw this, and his fellow brother of his own nation saw this and didn't do anything. But it took a stranger, to that helped them. Man, that's a lot of times how the Most High House has things. Man, a stranger will probably help you a lot of times, more than times for certain people that you would think will help you, man. That's I've seen that happen in a lifetime to other people, and I witnessed it, experienced it myself, man. But a lot of times, I've seen this happen, when a certain stranger would help you even before you would, or the person that you wouldn't think help you actually will help you rather than the people that you would, honestly, because and that's usually how actually the game usually goes. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure your brothers and sisters, and there's many people throughout the world that have loved ones that's always there to help them, honestly. But that's a lot of times, that's not the case. We idealistically we think so, but that's not really the case. See, that goes back into idealism a lot of times too, how that can get us, and that's not the reality, because we even the beginning, right? Because when people get so confused about what seeing these stories and seeing these things where family betrays or kills or do this to one another, actual blood family. I'm like, then I was talking about this with my mom a while ago. I was like, no, I can't be too surprised, because even internally my family, I'm pretty sure you brothers and sister family, wait. The first murder that ever happened was a brother killing his own blood brother. Even our patriarchs, even though, of course, they later repented, of course, that the scriptures for our learning. That's why I'm bringing it up. But they sold their brother into slavery. They could have had him killed and things. And they was at a point they wanted to kill him, but then they stopped. But that's another story for another day. That's and that stuff had to happen for Joseph betterment, and also too, there's witness of Yahushua in there, the testimony and the gospel in there. But yeah, that's just is what it is with that. So a lot of times that happens, man. But notice how, even with something like Jeremiah, right? Because his own people threw him in dung or shit. Pretty much, that's what dung is. Shit. It took I think Ethiopian had helped him out, man. So it's not just going to nationality or so-called nationality things that nature, but it's a more even point of a lot of times too, how the people that you think was going to help you, it'll be pretty much that's how the Most High House works. A lot of times it'll be a complete stranger that helps you as well. Because point being is that in the movie, they kind of, it was an element of this, man, because there was this Christian couple, and they're they seen what the Benny and his sister was going through. Gwen, that was her name, was going through, because being by the grabber, he was pretty much like a Freddy Krueger type of thing now, because he was dead, but in their dreams, and he was still tormenting them. So they saw that it's happening, but they didn't do anything about it. Then one of the camp counselors there, she says wow, that's really not the Christian thing to do, and it's not, honestly. So because there's elements like that, man. Just because, like the brother Semi Firstborn said, just because somebody's holding the word, that don't mean nothing, man. Because people gonna be people regardless. So that's an element of that, man. I had something else to say, but it's slipping my mind. God darn it, I'm mad it slipped my mind. Probably because I'm going too fast, but it's cool. Yeah, but that's oh yeah, that's what I was going to mention too. Because I was just reading the story. I'm not sure how true it was, but a lot of times too, I won't be surprised, but I can't speak on it because I'm not sure if it's true or not. I'll hear their side, but like it was this rumor that Kanye paid for DMX's funeral, and none of the people that actually came up with the Rough Riders, they helped pay. That's what they saying. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but when I read that, this conversation that we had happened came to mind. It's like, listen, a lot of times it'll happen like that. Like of course, I think X and Kanye kind of knew each other, but not like that. But it's like the fact that, like, allegedly, if that was true, like, he would pay for the funeral, and like, nobody from like the Rough Rider camp, or like, anybody from that time that came up with X, because they was with X from the beginning, like, in his early career, like, when he first got signed, like, with like Rough House and things of that nature. But like the early like 90s, he was with him until he came out in the latter part of the 90s. But yeah, and the fact that's just another example how, honestly, like how a stranger sometimes will help you, or outsider will help you, rather than the people that you would expect. And I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying if that it is true, because I can't fully say that, because you can't believe, right, of course, everything you read on the internet. And of course, our law tells us to hear both sides of the matter. So, and that, but I'm just using that as a backdrop to, like, say that. But yeah, man. But let's get this from Proverbs 24, man, because yeah, that was an element in this movie. Proverbs 24 and verse yeah 11. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, those that are ready to be slain, if thou say, behold, we knew and doeth not, he pondereth the heart and consider it, and he keepeth thy soul, and doeth he not know it, and shall not he render every man according to his work. So see, exactly, man. So pretty much, man, somebody's life is in danger. Even that's in the law. If somebody's life is in danger, you don't do anything, man. Like, if it's in your power to do so, if you have a chance to do so, because every time a situation it's different. Every situation is different. It's different nuances and dynamics of each situation. Like, but if you can do something, you don't. That's why the Most High house are ways of hearts, ways of intents. That you're gonna, like, have to answer for that, man. So give account for that, man. So, and I get it, man. Because listen, it's easy to say something like what we would do in certain situations. Because listen, it's human experience at the end of the day. Because I've only seen certain people, like, in situations freeze up, but certain times that's just like, you have to be that's why it even says that in the verse before, like, you can't faint in the day of adversity, or like, that's why faith has to be strong, trusting the Most High house at all times. Because because the perfect example is like somebody like Peter, things of that nature. Of course, man, people get on Peter. Like, that's why like, it says that in James 5:17. But somebody like Peter denied Yahushua 3 times, man. Like, people, one, it was, even though, like, in Job, it was written for him to do that. But even two, like, man, that's why, like, man, that there's human elements in that too. That's why you have to have, like, understand, like, honestly, too, as well. Because I can understand that, man. Because listen, like, unless everybody's not, you get 100 people in different situations, or even 20 people, but those 20 people will not react the same. So that's neither here nor there. But in something like that, like in a situation like that, when they really didn't do anything, they were forbearing to help them. Honestly, that's is what it is too. Like, and the Most High house isn't happy with people like that. But then that's what that Psalm 50 is about. Like, you got the word, you got my word in your mouth, but but you cast my, like, covenant away. Like, you talk a good one, but you casting. No, let's grab that Psalm 50 real quick, man. Those that seen the movie, y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Psalm chapter 50, verse um 16. But unto wicked Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or thou shouldst take the covenant in thy mouth? Verse 17. Seeing thou hatest instruction and casting my word behind thee. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, that's just what it is with that. But the biggest really element of this, man, because there's many movies hard, especially hard. You know what it is too? That's why Honestly, I remember seeing this meme, man. Like, no, and that's really true, man. Like, it was meme years ago. It's funny, but it's really true, man. Like they said, Scooby Doo taught us that real monsters are humans. That's a really a fact, honestly, because that's what a good horror actually does that, man. Show you how, like, actually good horror movies shows you a lot of times, most of them, like, are regular everyday people, man, with the real monsters and real, like, stuff like that. It's not always something like the whole, like, the supernatural, like the poltergeist or the quote unquote the omen, or like even something like Michael Myers or Jason or Freddy or Pennywise or something like that. Even though like a Michael Myers and stuff like that, Jason, those serial kills actually exist or something like that. But it could be like everyday people, like, if y'all ever seen Misery, like Kathy Bates, or like, somebody like this in Ethan Hawke's I mean, in the Black Phone, Ethan Hawke's character, something like him, the grabber. Every day, like, that's really, I think the director even said that, man. That's what really a good horror even shows you. Or Hannibal Lecter, man. Like, um, even though, like, from a natural tip too, like that goes to show you, evil has many, like, going back to cult of personality, something that we talked about, like, yesterday, man. Because if you like say on a natural tip, talk to Hannibal Lecter, man, he seemed like a cool dude, but he's a killer, he's a psycho. Like, he's not to see. That's why evil comes in many forms, man. A lot of times people will use their cult of personality or charm or wit to ensnare you, to entice you to forget how evil they are, man. So, and that's just a regular everyday people, man. It doesn't have to be on the on that type of time, man. But biggest element of this too, honestly, and in this Black Phone too, and in the first okay, it's good, it's good. I'm sorry, my brother texted me, but messaged me, but biggest element of this is not to offend the little ones. I mean, of course, now we know what Yahushua is talking about there too, but even naturally, man, like offending, like mentioned with children, man. That's why you have movies like Night of the Hunter and stuff like that, or like, many of the things of that nature, like, or even Nightmare on Elm Street, man. Talking about like what messing with, like, children, man, offending little ones, man, because it's a lot of times children represent innocence, man. Like, don't do anything to that, and that's why actually, if y'all seen the end of the movie, it's kind of like what Yahushua said in Matthew 18:6. That's why the grabber, he died the way he did. He died and kind of in sea, because that's what Yahushua said. Let's grab that in Matthew 18:6. Matthew 18:6. It says, "But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he drowned in the depth of the sea." And that's kind of how the movie ended. Honestly, y'all seen it, so yeah. Hopefully, it's edifying, man. Much love to your brothers and sisters, man. My bad, kind of going here with that, but it's a lot happened this morning, like, so yeah, man. So hopefully, it's edifying. So peace.